Alright, welcome back.
We learned the darkness mode. We learned the B mode, Chris.
Summon bees to have power exponentially into the power of the bees.
Oh, dude, I got some new towns.
For a second, I thought those were cards you could actually play. And then was like, oh yeah, that's how we, like, go to places.
Yes. So, subs versus dubs is what Chris wants to talk about now.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, because I was like, this probably, like, lines up way better in Japanese than in English, because most games that are dubbed over are, like, the mouth movement was made for the Japanese version, and then the American version gets, you know, figure it out.
Although I think this is a
Yo. He's got that dope-ass emo hair.
Yes.
Don't I even warrant a hello, Lexius?
Oh, he's got an X in his name.
And he's like, don't they all have X's in their name? Isn't that the
Joke.
whole thing?
It's the joke.
Zexian? I
Hey, he's
want
not
an
dead yet.
explanation.
Nice to see you too, Vexen. It's such a shame. The organization used to be the rope that bound us together.
You're only number 6. How dare
Now
you?
it's
Let it go,
letting us
Vexen.
apart.
Zexian, tell us.
Oh, he's got an X in his name, too.
What did you detect?
He already said his name.
Visitors.
Visitors had an X as well. No, I'm kidding.
In the castle's lowest basement.
2 cents.
One of them was Maleficent.
Oh, so
Don't
she's
be
alive.
absurd. The witch is gone. She cannot return from the realm of darkness.
Ding dong, the witch is
Other
dead.
volition.
Ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch
If you
is
will
dead.
Let me finish. The scent belonged not to the real Maleficent, but to a very convincing double.
Oh.
But I truly cannot say much beyond that, since the double is no more. Our other visitors saw to that.
Riku.
And who is it? I do not know for sure,
Because they've been
but the
watching Sora
scent
so long.
was very similar to that of the superior.
And yet, not exactly the same, was it? This truly makes my curiosity.
I'm glad he can smell them.
Now, what to do?
Dark, he can smell the darkness.
The darkness.
Darkness.
We wait. See what develops.
We die.
See, these guys are in charge of the basement. The other ones are in charge of the upper floors. Some got shafted, I think. Oh, I'm here to give you capitalism.
Funny.
I'm glad he smells things too.
Scent. It's so familiar.
Kyrie.
It's the smell of darkness.
Oh, it's the darkness. You were right, Chris. He can smell the
This
darkness.
is happening.
Wow, that's not stupid at
Darkness
all.
seeped into my skin.
Don't worry, Riku.
Capitalism will save you. I'm really the Majesty.
He just turns into a giant snowflake.
Oh, what happened? I can see right through you.
Almost like your intentions are pure. I'm a hologram. You can just buy that shit when you got my kind of money.
Request?
Fuck you. I got my capitalism money.
Just because darkness holds you, don't let go of who you are. You've got to fight the darkness inside you. It won't be
The darkness inside you, Sora.
but please don't forget. Even in the darkest darkness, there's always
Oh my
a little
God.
bit of light.
Really just said the darkest darkness. They figured out a way to use darkness twice in a sentence.
You know, I'm so happy we're playing through this franchise, Chris.
I'm regretting it by the day.
Wasn't because
The way,
I wanted you. You knew Kingdom Hearts was like,
even the light.
but you didn't realize how cringy the writing is.
Yeah, the writing is very cringe.
I'll do my best.
I guess I couldn't expect any less from a Disney property that's crossed over with a Japanese studio. They're like the two kings of cringy writing.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, he can't shake his hand
Illusion.
because he's an illusion.
Like, if there was any more cringe, this would be a TikTok compilation.
In our hearts, remember? We are connected, you and me.
No, I don't.
Yes, we
I
are.
don't understand how TikTok has become such a huge thing.
It was like I mean, I can.
I can actually, but I'm like, why?
It's because it cheated. There's no
confronting the
proof
darkness.
So there's no proof of this. And I'm not saying it's definitely true, so don't sue us. But I'm pretty sure TikTok got as big as it did because they made a whole bunch of fake bots. And then when people uploaded anything, those bots would just like and follow the channel and be like, wow, this is amazing. And then those people would be like, wow, I'm getting so many followers, I gotta keep making content. And then they tell all their friends, like, yeah, man, I'm getting tons of views and everyone loves this shit, you gotta check it out, it's great. And then they do it, and then the bots get and send them a bunch of shit, and it's like, that's why I think most people who have like audiences on TikTok, their audiences are mostly fakes.
Wow.
Because when you see them like try and go off of TikTok onto other platforms, they get like not even a quarter of what they have for views. Or like videos. It's because the audience isn't real to begin with.
That's interesting.
Yeah. There's no proof of that though, so you know, don't sue us. It's just a theory.
Game theory.
It's just a theory
Thanks
that
for
seems incredibly likely, but a theory nonetheless.
Where do you want to go next? You want to go Moostro, Neverland, Traverse Town, or...
Oh, hold on. I don't fucking care. Does that answer your question?
We'll go to Agrabah.
Dagobah.
Tatooine.
But yeah, fucking, you know what I'm talking about though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. But,
Like, let's buy 500,000 subs on YouTube, and then only get 100 likes on you.
Yeah, right. The classic. It's that, except the service is doing it to make their service seem bigger than it is so that they get more money through the stocks. Big brain plays. It's actually incredibly smart on their part.
No, that is really smart.
It's also should be illegal, but whatever. It's also not true. Not factually true. Just a theory. Do not sue us.
Like it?
That's just a theory. A corporation theory.
Thanks for listening. Your Majesty! Oh, dude, I recovered.
And you stunned everything. What's the, oh man, what's the word though?
Subs versus dubs? Oh, dude, I'm in the darkness mode. Dark point! Yeah.
That's incredibly powerful. Man, he changes outfits quick too.
Yeah.
He's got that quick change down. He could go into magic after this.
Dude, he could go into Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy X2 with the quick changes of costumes.
What do I want to go into? I want to be a part of Final Fantasy 13-3 because I just like cosplay. Final Fantasy 13-3 cosplay edition. Dress her up however you like. This game is literally a little girl dress-up simulator game, but with RPG mechanics.
Yeah, RPG mechanics.
I'm not gonna lie. I played the demo for that game and was just like, I kind of like this, but also like, I shouldn't like this.
I don't know how comfortable I am about this.
Like this literally, I'm like, this is literally like those generic like Flash games on the internet for like dress-up games, but like for people who like Final Fantasy and they're adults, and I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that, man.
It was pretty cool though. There is something neat about having Lightning dress up as a fucking like, what are they? The Dragons or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Something pretty dope about that.
I
I'm
love
not
Fire
gonna lie.
Emblem, Final Fantasy X2.
Final Fantasy 8. Can we actually get a Fire Emblem like
Game like that?
cosplay? Actually, I guess every Fire Emblem is like that because of the class system. Now that I think about
You
it,
are correct now.
it's like every one of them. I don't know about you, man, but when I play Fire Emblem, you know, like the horse knight, the Pegasus Knights.
Yes.
They're like they can go very far and they're on horses. Am I the only one who's just like these fucking suck?
Horse?
The Pegasus Knights?
Oh, Pegasus Knights?
Because
Yeah.
they just get murfed immediately
I don't know
by
what you're
like
talking about.
everything.
They're so strong versus nothing.
Yeah, like they just get murdered by axe
You know
and
what the
spear.
The saddest
and
part about them
arrow.
is I want to use them to fight against, like, take out enemy archers.
Yeah.
but they get murfed by archers.
Yeah, archers. Exactly. That's what I
And-
mean. I'm like, they suck.
But what you're supposed to, I guess, use them for is to take out enemy casters, because they have high resistance. But it's just like...
But then they immediately get nerfed. So, here's the thing, right? They move very fast and very far, so you put them, like, deep into enemy line to kill a caster, right? So you don't have to deal with the caster. And then they immediately are in enemy territory and get immediately nerfed by axes, which they're weak to, or fucking arrows, which they are also weak to. Because they're deep in enemy line to do that, which makes them a garbage unit.
Yeah.
So every time I get a Pegasus Knight, I immediately either trade them off for like a Wyvern or something, because at least Wyverns have fucking defense! And
Yeah, they might not be as effective against... they still might have the same weakness to...
They have like the exact same weaknesses, but at least they can fucking like hit shit. Too slow.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they might have the exact same weaknesses, but at least they can take more than, I don't know, one fucking attack before dying.
We could play that. The new Fire Emblem?
No, we can't. It's fucking like
Oh, right.
70 fucking hours long.
Right.
I mean, we could, but I don't want to play it.
I was like, yeah, we can play that, and I went, it's way too fucking long. What
It's
am
like-
I talking about
it's
there,
like
right?
stupid long. It's like 100 hours long.
And now, would we 100% it, Chris? All the campaigns?
No, well, no, maybe. It's
We can
one of
play
those
through
things.
one.
No, it's one of those things that, like, if I'm gonna play it, we're gonna play all of it. But like, I don't want to.
I completely get it. I haven't even played through one of the campaigns yet. So I'm like, I could play it, and then I'm like, but it's too fucking long.
I might like we could do I would say a portable one, but they're also like not recordable anymore because the only way to record 3DS games, I guess emulation is actually starting to pick up, but the only way to actually record off of hardware, like we roll, is fucking a nightmare because the dude who makes them got like shut down
The capture
or
card.
or retired, depending
Why did I
on
do
which
that?
one you're going
Why did I
to.
do that one? I can't see it, and I don't want to fucking...
Well, there was only
Because of
like
that.
2 people who did capture cards. There was a guy in Japan who was shut down because Nintendo was like, "We're just gonna sue the shit out of you."
Why would you want to record our stuff?
And then fucking and then a dude in I think Germany, but he retired. Like retired. Like he's just done doing technology stuff
Don't blame him.
because the money isn't really there anymore. Also, it makes sense for him to retire from doing it now because the
Nintendo.
3DS is dead. It's the Nintendo Switch now.
Yeah.
So like, why keep?
It's really easy to record the Switch.
Yeah. But it's really fucking hard to record the 3DS still. Get on that shit, people.
I wish, because there's a good number of 3DS games I would love to play.
We could like, we'd have to emulate them, but like the emulator for the 3DS is still incredibly jank. And it probably is gonna stay jank for like,
Ever.
yeah, at least like 5 years. I give it like 5 years before I'd say it like consistently runs shit at like frame rates that aren't garbage and fucking like doesn't glitch out every like.
Yeah, because it's so funny
Couple
watching
frames.
people talk about the capture card for the 3DS. Because they're like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. But yeah, fucking God, when was that though? That was like
Darkness!
I think 2018. I think it was all shut down. So people have not had 3DS capture cards for a while.
Yeah.
It's like buy that shit secondhand on the used market for a small fortune.
Yeah, I know some people like who record videos for it. They're like, yeah, I know a guy who knows how to fix it, and that's all they can do.
There was a. It's funny. I used to not that I used to watch it, but I came across like years ago a guy who literally recorded 3DS footage like through a camera, just pointed at the 3DS. And you figure that would be fucking terrible, but the dude was surprisingly like efficient at. Derek is horrible.
It's not even
Finding
that, it's
out.
the decks are completely random, so I don't know where anything is.
You gotta math quicker, Derek. You gotta math faster. But what was I saying? Something about
Darkness.
Oh yeah, he like recorded footage right off the thing. which you think would be terrible, except for the fact that, like, I didn't even notice he was doing it until, like, the 3rd episode of the fucking video. I'm like, he did a really good job fucking doing this. It made me wonder how he did it, though, and I just assumed he, like, clamped his 3DS in a vice grip and, like, pointed a camera and a tripod at it, and then, like, cropped it in the video afterwards, because, like...
Whatever he did right.
Yeah, I'm like, because there's, like, no way you can play that without it moving all over the fucking place. That's how I do it, though. I just vice grip clamp it, you know, fuck it. There's old channel now called Classic Game Room. That's how he used to record footage for, like, handheld games, is he put, like, rubber feet at the bottom of it and would just, like, put it on the table and, like, aim a camera down at it and, like, push 2 buttons with his index fingers from the sides.
That's funny.
So as to not move it.
That's pretty funny.
He mainly did it for, because his style of reviews was, like, showing it on original hardware and stuff, as well as, like, actual, like, captured game footage. Very old school. And he would do that for everything. He'd do that for, like, game consoles, too. Like, you just point the camera at the TV for, like, segments of it playing on the hardware. Which is, like, it's one of those things that I'm like, you don't need to do that, but at least it's more visually interesting than just staring at the screen while he's like, this game is good. Let's go for good games.
This game is good. Like it.
Not that, he left YouTube recently because there's no money on YouTube.
What are you talking about? There's so much money on YouTube.
And by recently, I mean like 4 years ago now, I think. God, it's been a while. We went to Amazon. He was like a long run show on Amazon now. Like he does like 30-minute long videos covering like a bunch of games now.
Interesting.
It makes sense though, because he had to like he's like the market changed, how videos changed, how YouTube gives money's changed, and now everything is unsupportable. And he just like collapsed his entire business and changed it completely. He also does comics now. Yeah. Those are pretty popular. Kind of sort of.
Darkness.
The only problem with it is like his comic book is based off of like jokes and characters from the review show that like essentially doesn't exist anymore, which makes me wonder like the fuck that's gonna work long term. But
yeah. Cool, but what?
I mean, in all fairness, like the characters that he came up with are actually just like good characters, so it will probably be fine. Because like, you know, if you make a good character, it's just like a good character. You don't really need to like think about it too hard. But he has a.
I heard on the radio driving over that I forget what the name of the rapper is or music person is. He wants to make a movie, like a full-length movie about a superhero he made for his TikTok clips.
Hilarious. Also, what?
I was like, what?
That wouldn't surprise me. People generally do that. I mean, I don't really blame them. I've been there too. The difference is I don't have like rapper money to blow on stuff.
Get it? I feel that.
I still want to at some point do a comic about like me and my friends from middle school / high school, and do it in the typical ridiculous anime style of like
A new man.
My whole thing is like, whenever I like talk about doing like a story though, my buddy, because I have a buddy who actually like writes a lot, like a lot. Like I mean like he writes so much that I question how the fuck he's able to write so much with the amount of time he has.
I get it.
But yeah, he writes good shit. He mainly writes horror stuff. He's a big horror kind of writer guy. But he writes good stuff. I'll take his word for it because I don't have time to actually read it, which is how I question how he has time to write it. But from the few snippets I have read, it's pretty good.
I get it, man. I get
But
it.
most of it is like plot synopsis, because he runs every now and again he'll run like a story by me to be like, what do you think about this as an idea? And I'll be like, seems neat.
Seems neat.
I won't go into any more detail than that because I don't want to spoil his creative process for the people, you know?
Yeah, maybe he'll make a video about it someday.
I doubt it. But he might get, you know, he might get big someday and write a documentary about it. I don't know.
Oh, fucking
I don't know, man. But he always writes like more serious stuff is what I wanted to get at, and I'm always like, which is complete stark opposite of me, where all I want to do is write comedy because
dumb shit.
Yeah, because if someone's like, this story is dumb and doesn't make any sense, I can just be like, that's the point.
Yeah, the point.
Yeah, you just be like, that's the point. It's like, I don't want to think about it too hard. Yeah, that got him. That was probably what it did.
I think that's what I'm supposed to do, Chris.
Yeah, that's probably the right idea. It's time to duel.
No.
But yeah, I was like, but it was funny because I was talking to him. I'm like, yeah, I only write two kinds of stories, which is like comedies and then just really depressing shit. And that's all you get.
So you get with me.
That's all you get. It's good shit though. Because I was telling someone about that, where I was like, I won't go into too much details of it because I like the idea, but I'm like, I'm never gonna get around to writing it. But I like the idea of it, so I'm not gonna go into too much, just in case I ever do get the hankering to actually sit down and put pencil on paper, and then question it, and then switch over to a fucking keyboard and start typing it.
Beat about 2 seconds with that joke.
But I wonder, like, I want to do a story, like a long run story about like a group of people who are immortal.
Yes.
But then just be like, but the entire story is just how much it fucking blows to be immortal.
I get it, man. Oh. I get it.
But yeah.
Highlander, but not good.
Yeah, no, literally, it was like Highlander, but like avoid of all the fun of Highlander.
Yeah, you can kill people with a giant sword. Dude, they made a clip. I forget what the channel. I think it's called Door Monster. They made a thing that was like, this guy's immortal, but he's trying to pretend he's not immortal. And he's like, dude, there's this picture of you, and it looks like this guy looks exactly like you in this old picture. That's not me. I don't know what that would mean. I'm like, immortal. Huh. Yeah. That's pretty weird, though. So, if immortals kill another immortal with a sword, do they, like, gain their power? That's not how it works. But I wouldn't know that, because I'm not immortal!
The classic.
I was like, that's great. There's probably going to be a cutscene, so open another room.
That's always the flaw with,
The fun?
That's always the flaw with stories about immortals, because it's just like, how the fuck do you kill an immortal? It's like, you cut their head off. I'm like, wouldn't they still be immortal, though? They just wouldn't have a...
Depends on the immortality.
Because I always think about it where I'm just like, are they immortal as in they can't die, or are they immortal as in, like, they don't die of age?
Yeah.
And they just, like...
That's typically what people do with the immortality thing.
Yeah.
There was one, I forget what the show is called, but the premise is this guy, every time he dies, he wakes up in the same fucking, like, a body of water. No matter what the, every time he dies, he wakes up in a close body to water. And he's living in, I think New York right now. So he wakes up in the bay.
Okay.
And every time he dies, he comes back out of the water, butt-ass naked. And I'm like, that's interesting.
That seems important.
Yeah, I don't know why it's like that, but it's like, okay. And one thing I did like, though, is he has this guy, the older guy who lives with him, that, is his grandfather is what they tell people, but it's his son because he's immortal, and he rescued this kid from the concentration camps. And I'm like, that's a cool premise.
Is this... What the fuck is this?
Oh.
Is this a comic or a movie?
It's
or
a
some shit?
TV show.
TV show?
Yeah. But on that note,
pick it up in the next part. We'll see you then.